Guys, what's going on? This is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about Masteries. I have no videos on my entire channel talking about just tier 5, tier 6 masteries, and then picking out a couple of my favorites as well. Really the crucial masteries you should be looking at when deciding how to build any champion. So let's go ahead. I actually have Blind Seer, who I just 6-starred. I just ascended her, but I have not put any gear on her. I also have not chosen any masteries. So did I pass her? I'm sure I did here. But the idea here again is there's no cookie cutter answer to how you're going to equip your champion with masteries, right? There is no perfect solution. Where is she? Right at the top? Oh, there it is. My bad. So it's going to depend on where you use those champions. So that's the first thing I hope to get across in this video, is providing solutions, providing some guidance on, okay, what are you trying to do with this champion? That's going to dictate which masteries you go for. Just some super low level stuff in case you're a new player watching this, you know, maybe you have no idea about masteries. You get your scrolls here, the three kind of scroll rarities, the scroll categories. You get these from the Minotaur's Labyrinth dungeon. And the best strategy there is to kind of build out 4 champions that already have their masteries maxed. And then the champion you're working on farming those masteries, put them in, and then all the scrolls will go to them. It takes a while to build up 4 champions and max out their masteries. It's going to take you a few weeks, you know, at the minimum, usually, unless you just grind 24/7, to do that. But once you do, it'll be much easier to farm that one specific champion you're looking for. Now, you can buy masteries here for 800 gems. And actually, that's what we have to do in today's video. So let's go ahead and actually do that. Be right back. Alright guys, so we just bought our masteries for Blind Seer, right? So there's 6 tiers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each of the kind of the categories, the 3 pillars, I guess, offense, defense, and support. Now be very careful. You do have to connect your masteries from one tier to the other, so kind of map it out ahead of time. That way you're not stuck with Evil Eye when you really want lasting gifts and you have no kind of scrolls left and you've kind of screwed yourself over. So be very, very careful in terms of pre-planning your masteries, even if you're going to farm them very slowly for each champion. I would advise, by the way, taking champions to level 60 or to 6-star rank, or at least to maxed out 5-star rank before you start really heavily investing in masteries. With that said, I would always invest in getting crit rate on any champion you want to go offense tree in right away. So I would get crit rate, you know, as soon as I start building a champion, and also crit damage, which is on a tier 2 in the offense, Keen Strike. So crit rate, crit damage, very important. Also, for any champion that is landing debuffs, you're going to want to get the pinpoint accuracy, plus 10 accuracy, very valuable mastery for these tier 1s right out the gate. So just keep that in mind. Now, in any of these categories, you can get 3 masteries per category. That goes across all 3 of these tiers, and you can only have 2 in each category. So a 2 max on support, so I could get, for example, Shield Bearer, I could get Lay on Hands. I wouldn't be able to get all 3 though, Exalted Death. However, I would be able to get a 3rd in another tier. You get it? So 3 per tier until we get to tier 6. Tier 6, there's only 1. That's it. That's all you get. 1 tier 6 mastery on all of your champions. Tier 2 through 5, you get 3, okay? So let's talk about tier 6 masteries right out the gate here, and then I'll kind of talk about some very popular masteries such as Lore of Steel, such as Lasting Gifts, such as Master Hexer. But I think that tier 6 is where everybody has the most questions in terms of what do I go for given this specific champion, given this is how I plan on using them the most. And the most is a key part of this conversation, right? Because oftentimes you're going to build a champion to use them all over the place, right? But where are you going to be leaning on them the heaviest? Where do you see them with the longest lasting impact on your specific team, okay? So I always consider Warmaster versus the offense's tier 6 masteries is what I consider first for any champion. If I'm going to be going on the offensive tree, which I will not be going on Blind Seer, we'll talk specifically about her in just a moment. But Warmaster is probably the most popular mastery in the game, certainly the most popular tier 6 mastery. You pretty much want Warmaster on all of your clan boss champions, provided they're not a 3-hitter or more. So, for example, Apothecary has a 3-hitter on his A1. We're talking about their default skill, their A1 skill, okay? So champions that are doing any sort of damage, and even champions that are not doing a lot of damage, but you are going offensive tree on, they can do a lot of damage thanks to Warmaster, because Warmaster's damage is based on enemy max HP, okay? Let me repeat that. Warmaster damage, even if I have it on a very, very low damage champion that doesn't have a lot of big multipliers at all, it's going to improve their damage against clan boss from maybe a couple 100,000 to a few million just on having Warmaster, because you're getting a 60% extra chance of inflicting bonus damage equal to 10% of the target's champion's max HP or 4% of the target's boss's max HP. That's capped against clan boss, but still it's going to be doing a lot of extra damage. We're talking, 60k plus extra damage per time it procs, which is a 60% chance. So again, let's go over the basics here. Any champion who you're using in clan boss especially, but against any bosses for the most part, in dungeons as well, who has a 1 or a 2 hitter on their A1, 1 or 2 hits, you're probably going to want to go Warmaster. If they have 3 hits, such as Cold Heart, such as Aethel, such as Apothecary, such as Nethril on their A1, you want to go Giant Slayer. Okay? Very easy rule. A1, their first ability, 2 hits, 1 or 2 hits, go Warmaster. 3 hits or more, go Giant Slayer. 30% chance of inflicting bonus damage when attacking, but that is proccing every single hit versus one time. So it's really a 60% chance off 1 hit or 30% chance off of 2 or more hits on Giant Slayer. So those are your options. Those are best again in dungeons. They're best against bosses primarily, okay? Also, we have a special guest today's video. Charlie, you want to say hi? Say hi. Okay. Just be quiet and watch Dead. So, Helm Smasher ability, right? Helm Smasher is ignoring a 50% chance of ignoring 25% of the target's defense. For skills that ignore defense already, or for artifact sets that ignore defense, that is going to be in addition. So that does stack. Helm Smasher is very, very good for Arena, okay? Helm Smasher for Arena, ignoring defense is crucial against PvP other champions in the game. I love going with the Helm Smasher in Savage Artifact set in combination, especially with champions that already have a skill that ignores a portion of the enemy's defense, okay? So Helm Smasher is going to be by far preferable in those situations. Helm Smasher also preferable on your nukers for the dungeons in waves in dungeons, okay? So against the mobs, the minions in the first 2 waves of a given dungeon, go with Helm Smasher plus a Savage set if you can get those artifacts from Fire Knight, okay? And then last but not least, we have Flawless Execution, crit damage plus 20%. I prefer Flawless Execution. Some people put that on their nukers, just straight up over Helm Smasher. That's your decision, but I prefer Flawless Execution on my Cold Hearts, my Royal Guards, my Husks, my Septimuses, and my Armigers. Champions that have a skill that do damage based on enemy max HP, I give them the extra 20% crit damage. So that's how I use Flawless Execution. Again, you have the option to put it on your nukers as well, but that's what I go for. Now let's talk about the other tier 6 masteries real quickly, the popular ones. Let's just go through them all real quickly here. Iron Skin, you rarely see people go with Iron Skin. On the Bulwark, decreases the damage by all allies received by 5%. You can use Bulwark on a really strong support champion for clan boss, but it's not an incredibly popular mastery. I would say Fearsome Presence is the most popular tier 6 mastery for defensive tree, okay? Sorry, guys. I'm playing Daddy Daycare, by the way, here throughout the weekend. His mom is away for 3 days, so I have no time to record other than when he is with me, so apologies for the distraction. But Fearsome Presence has an extra 5% chance of landing the most valuable and powerful debuffs in the game. Stun, Sleep, Freeze, Fear, True Fear, and Provoke. A very powerful, sometimes underrated by new players, mastery in the game. You can put this on a Scylla the Drakes and bump that from 35% chance to 40% chance on 2 hits to land a stun. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot on these abilities, because these debuffs, again, are the strongest debuffs in the game. I like Fearsome Presence, especially if there isn't a big need to have one of the other tier 6 masteries on that champion, okay? And then we have, the last one is Unshakable. Unshakable is a niche plus 50 resist mastery that I would use on champions on kind of a defensive arena team that you don't need that Warmaster on again. So my Siphi, for example, Siphi the Lost Bride, is a really strong resist-based defensive support champion. I put Unshakable on her because I'm mainly using her in the arena, okay? But again, it is a little bit more of a niche ability with the extra resist, a mastery, I should say. On the support tree, a lot of people don't go tier 6 on support. A lot of people do. We will be going tier 6 on support with Blind Seer, but a lot of people go tier 6 usually in the offensive tree, sometimes with Fearsome Presence, sometimes with Bulwark, and you know, a little bit more rarely on support. But again, we are going to be going support with Blind Seer. Not to say that these are not good. They're really good tier 6 masteries, but usually people end up going offense. Elixir of Life, very rare that someone goes with plus 3,000 HP. Timely Intervention's very good. Increases this champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally hero drops below 25% HP. That's a lot of turn meter manipulation. That's a lot of turn meter boost. Just be careful with any turn meter mastery. If you have your champion as a part of a speed-tuned team, it will ruin that team on Clan Boss. So be very careful with abilities like Timely Intervention. There's a lot of them on all of these trees. So just be very careful about those. But normally, yeah, they're great, aside from the speed-tuned teams. And when I say speed-tuned, I mean a team that every champion's speed, and not talking about just the order of the champions going. I'm talking about every champion's speed is in a very specific range because you need them over the long fight in a clan boss battle to go in a specific order to maximize your turns per opponent's turns, per clan boss turn. Oppressor. Increase the turn meter fill rate by 2.5%. So this is increasing the turn meter fill rate, another kind of niche but cool and powerful ability, by 2.5% for each debuff cast by this champion, stacks up to 10%. So Oppressor is a cool ability, but again, it's very niche. Most people don't opt to go for it. And then Eagle Eye, accuracy plus 50. Eagle Eye is a mastery, again, a little bit on the niche side, a little bit more rare to see this a mastery as a tier 6 choice. But I would put this on my Madame Ceres's, on my Prince Kaimar's, my really strong kind of debuff strippers or debuffers that I need to have land their debuffs for the arena. So more commonly, the champions that I'm putting in an Eagle Eye Mastery are also the champions that I'm putting in the very rare and niche, how many times this guy's got to say niche in one video, right? In the very rare niche chest piece that is accuracy. So the accuracy chest piece, usually it's kind of a trifecta in my mind. The champions that I'm putting in accuracy chest are also champions that I'm using an accuracy banner on, are also champions that I'm more apt to go Eagle Eye on, okay? So again, I do have my Madame Ceres on my arena team with the Eagle Eye Mastery. Again, you don't usually have to get your mastery up that high to where you need your Great Hall plus your banner plus your Eagle Eye. Usually you can just get it from substats. So again, very uncommon, but I would say that the arena is a place that Eagle Eye is really gonna, help you guys out a lot. So some other key masteries to mention in today's video are gonna be Master Hexer. Very, very popular mastery, very popular. Anybody who's debuffing, essentially, aside from these debuffs, so decreased defense, decreased attack type champions, you're gonna want Master Hexer more often than not. 30% chance to extend the duration of a debuff cast by this champion. Very powerful. Sniper, very powerful. Increases the chance of placing any debuff from skills or artifacts by 5%. So that can get your champions, again, kind of like we talked about. Sniper is the weaker version of Fearsome Presence, right? Fearsome Presence has the 5% chance extra shot of landing on all the strong debuffs, and Sniper is on all the, I don't even want to say weaker, but the other debuffs, okay? Also, Spirit Haste is a popular one, increased speed by 8 for each dead ally, although it's not my favorite in this category. If you don't need, Sniper, they're not casting debuffs, a lot of people end up going with Spirit Haste. Also, with Lasting Gifts, we will be going Spirit Haste and Lasting Gifts on Blind Seer, because Lasting Gifts, it's all about not debuffs, but buffs, okay? So 30% chance to extend the duration of any buff cast by this champion by 1 turn. Will not extend the best debuffs, block damage, unkillable, and revive on death. Obviously, Lore of Steel, increase the base stat set bonuses of all artifact sets that increase base stats by 15%. Essentially, this is going to give you a boost on all basic artifact stat bonuses. Evil Eye's very good. Decrease the target's turn meter each time that the enemy is hit by this champion's default skill, okay? And other popular ones, Arcane Celerity, 30% chance of increasing turn meter by 10% when a debuff by this champion is removed or expires. Really solid. Arcane Celerity, just again, keep in mind, probably not going to want this on a speed-tuned clan boss team. On the defensive tree, most popular tier 5s are Retribution, 50% chance to counterattack when an enemy champion loses 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy skill. very good for the arena. You're going to get a lot of good counterattacks off Retribution. And then we have also, good for the arena, Selfless Defender. Decreases the damage an ally receives from the first enemy hit in each round by 20%. This champion will receive that damage instead. So put that on one of your more hardy, one of your more robust arena champions. It's going to help the rest of your champions out a lot as well. Also, we have Deterrence, 20% chance to counterattack an enemy when they apply a stun, sleep, fear, true fear, or freeze debuff to any ally. A good combination is Deterrence Mastery and an immunity artifact set, because you're always going to be free to go. Your champion's never going to get frozen. They're going to be free to use the deterrence ability, right? And if your other allies do not have an immunity set, they do get frozen, feared, sleep, stunned, or whatever, then you can go ahead and counterattack off of that. So Deterrence, I would say, is probably not as popular as Retribution, but it's still a very good ability. And then the last thing, the last kind of masteries we're going to talk about here, guys, are not Whirlwind of Death. Actually, Whirlwind of Death is really solid. Great for your campaign farmer. Increase speed by 6 for each enemy killed by this champion. Stacks across each round, up to 18 speed. You can get a lot of benefits from your campaign farmers in the offensive tree, right? 18 speed is huge to add across each round on campaign farmers, right? Same thing, increased damage inflicted by 8% for the first hit on each enemy. There's a lot of good damage boosting abilities throughout this offensive tree. You guys, can check it out yourselves. Very popular is Kill Streak. Increases damage inflicted by 6% in the arena, 3% in all other locations for each enemy killed by this champion in battle. Stacks across each round. Whenever you see stacks across each round, this is mainly a dungeon ability, right? This is a mastery you want to put on your dungeon champions, your dungeon nukers more specifically. Champions that are going to be doing a lot of killing of other champions, right? And then you can get that full 12% extra. Kill Streak and Whirlwind of Death are really good to have on your your big strong nukers. And of course, Methodical is very popular as well. Increase the damage inflicted by this champion's default skill by 2%, and it stacks all the way to 10%. So those are the most popular masteries. There's a lot we didn't talk about, guys, but we covered all the tier 6 masteries. We covered most of the tier 5 masteries. We covered a couple crucial other masteries earlier in the trees. Let's go ahead and build up my my blinds here before we go ahead and end this video. And again, you have one free reset, but then after that, it costs 150 gems, so be very careful. I like the improved parry, decreases the damage received by this champion by 8% when this champion is hit with a critical hit. It's nice for any champion that you want to live a long time, and Blind Seer, we want her to live. She's a support champion, and I am building her out for maybe dungeons, but mainly for faction wars, for faction crypts, okay? So for that reason, we definitely want to go heals this champion by 10% of their max HP when they kill an enemy target. Well, I shouldn't say we definitely want to go. We could have went with... You're going to find yourself in these situations as well, right, guys? There's a lot of options, and none of them are necessarily right or wrong. Reduces this champion's receives from a specific enemy by 0.75 for each hit taken by that enemy. I like this as well because in faction wars, these rounds can last a long time, and all of my champions will be hit a lot. So a delayed death is a good... it's good for faction wars, a good ability for faction wars. And I want Retribution on my Blind Seer, and I'll tell you why real quick. On her A1, attacks 3 times at random, so she could be a viable candidate for Giant Slayer if we were going on the war tree, on the battle tree, excuse me. But we're not. We're not going on the offensive tree. So, but I would put her in Giant Slayer. Did I say Warmaster? Giant Slayer. So each has a 30% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 15%. A very nice A1, and that can be booked up to a 40% chance, which we did. So a 3-hitter turn meter manipulation on the A1, that's going to be great with Retribution because we're going to get that counterattack in there, and again, decreased turn meter on a 3-hitter all in the A1. So champions generally that have a really good A1 go with Retribution, right? And that is the case here. I already mentioned to you guys that we are going to go all the way down to tier 6 in support. I am going to build her full support here, and what I want to do is go with Shield Bearer, increases the value of shield buffs by this champion by 5%. I also want to go Exalted Death, heals this champion by 10% of their max HP, first time an enemy is killed each round. Now, let's take a look at her A2. Plays a shield buff and a debuff buff on all allies for 2 turns, shield proportional to this champion's max HP. So we look at that ability and we think, okay, we want that shield bearer. That's going to really increase the value of the shield buff by 5%. Not too bad. We also have the Exalted Death, wanting to heal her. That's because of her A3, which we'll talk about in just a second. Rapid Response is a great mastery, 30% chance of increasing turn meter by 10% when a buff is expired. She is a buffer, as we just saw on her A2, so we want that ability as well. We also want the Swarm Smiter, increase accuracy by 4 for each enemy alive, stacks by 16. On her A1, she has that turn meter manipulation. That is based off of accuracy, so we do want that. We're going to put Lore of Steel on this champion, where I talked about that ability. We're going to put Evil Eye on this champion as well. We need Lasting Gifts, so we have to take Spirit Haste, okay? Spirit Haste, Lasting Gifts to extend the duration, 30% chance of all of her buffs. Boom. And we're going to end this champion on Timely Intervention. Increases champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally hero drops below 25% HP. So I think that Timely Intervention is a great ability. You could even make the case I could go with the HP, 3,000 extra HP. Her shield is based off of HP. Really, any of these, and maybe not Oppressor. Either of these two would be viable. I'm gonna go Timely Intervention. I like that because again, faction crypts are tough. And I like to have her there with extra turn meter because she has a great heal on her A3. Let's take a look at her A3 real quick. It is actually not a heal, rather. It's a revival. So revives all dead allies. It's on a long cooldown of 6 turns. Has the block damage buff on there as well. So having her go more often, having her really, really fast, generally champions that you want to build very, very quickly are going to have a nice synergy with the Timely Intervention. And if they're a debuffer, also with the Oppressor ability. So there we go, guys. I hope that you found this guide pretty helpful. It was kind of long, longer than I had initially intended. I apologize for that. Sorry for the distractions with my son running around. Hopefully you guys, again, found some use out of this video. I might do an updated one in the future as well, going over maybe every mastery a little bit more in depth, the ones that we didn't talk about in today's video. Either way, guys, if you enjoyed the content here, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.